Hey there, this is Beth, your sweet urban living lady, and today I have multiple projects that I'm working on with essential oils, a lot of different DIYs that I'm making. Now, we're going to take these one by one, and there's going to be a video for each different one, and then we might even do a compilation where we put them all together. So I just wanted to share that in this series, I'm working on shower gels, air fresheners for the bathroom and the toilet, and herbal salves. I just got back from our herbal boot camp that we did. A colleague of mine and I do a weekend away, and we've done this for 3 times now in the mountains. We're going to be in Kentucky in the fall. We've been in the mountains of North Carolina the last 3 times, and we just do different weekends. This past weekend has been, since I'm filming this now, it was an herbal boot camp. We did a plant immersive, and I want to share with y'all the fun. We did an herb walk with a guide. An herb guide took us through a trail in the Appalachian Mountains, and we saw some neat plants that only grow in the Appalachian Mountains, and they're great herbals. We also did where we did our own flower essences, and we made our herb salves, and we did all kinds of stuff. So if that appeals to you, be sure to follow the link below for the education website and just join our email list so that you get news of when we do our herbal weekends, because they are a lot of fun. They're relaxed, they're in beautiful locations. You're not in a hotel room the entire time. You're outside, you're doing your part of the weekend. The point of what we're doing today is making our DIY essential oils and herbal things that we use around the house. And so it's always great to find a favorite bath and body or air freshener or whatever, but they can be more expensive than doing it yourself. Plus, if you do it yourself, you get to experiment with fun blending your essential oils. And this video here is where Mr. Sweet and I picked out the essential oils and the blend that we wanted for our shower gels that I'm going to create today. And the reason we did that is because, as you'll see in that video, I love tansy, and I was all about putting the essential oil tansy in my shower gel so that it would be soothing and relaxing. But when I started blending one of my favorite essential oil smells with the other things, it just didn't appeal. So watch here and see. We'll put that link down below too. But watch and just see how much fun it is to do the different smell test and find out which ones appeal to you. So first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to put together our shower gel. And I've got my recipe here on my computer so that I have it handy anytime I need it. And the first thing we're going to start with is a bowl. So we can blend it together. I love my cup, love my mug from our weekend. One of the great things we do is we have fun swag that comes with our weekend events. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to use 12 ounces of Castile soap. So I'm going to use my big measure cup because of the spout, so that I can pour it in into the bottles once I'm done mixing. But to get my measurement, I'm going to use this smaller measure cup. And what we need, now I'm going to do one for me and one for Rob. So I'm going to have a his and hers, Mr. and Mrs. Sweet shower gel. So the first ingredient I'm going to use is going to be vegetable glycerin. And we need 4 teaspoons of vegetable glycerin. 1, 4. I'm going to let that just drip there while I go get my vitamin E. Then we need 2 teaspoons of raw honey. So I'm going to switch and use a different measuring set so that I don't mess up. Since I'm making 2 batches, I'm making his and hers, Mr. and Mrs. Sweets. So 2 teaspoons of honey. You can lick the spoon with this one. That's how I lick my lips. Okay. I washed my hands. And since I did that, I'm actually going to get out this really tiny, since I'm going to be doing that again, I've got this really tiny silicone spatula. And I have several of them. And even though they're Christmas spatulas, the reason I keep this is because I should have used that to get the honey out of the spoon rather than my finger. So I'll have that for the next batch. Okay, so I've got my glycerin. I need my vitamin E. Put the top back on that. My vitamin E is, I'm going to need 2 teaspoons of vitamin E oil. So I will go ahead and use the one I used for glycerin. And, so this has the dropper where you drop. I'm going to pull that out because I need it to pour instead of drop. So 2 teaspoons of vitamin E. Vitamin E is a preservative. Essential oils are also sometimes preservatives. And guess what? So is your honey. If it is raw honey that hasn't been heated too high, filtered, mostly just sugar. Okay, then you want a lipid oil such as jojoba, coconut, or almond. Okay, so I'm using fractionated coconut oil for this. I really probably prefer the jojoba oil, but I don't have any on hand today. So we're going to use 2 teaspoons of the fractionated coconut oil. And what that means is they've opened that up. It's a little different from the coconut oil I have in my kitchen that gets solid in the wintertime when it's cold and soft and melty in the summertime when it's hot. All right, so for Rob, he wanted Mr. Sweet. He liked the lemongrass, peppermint, Ravintsara, sandalwood, and Copaiba. So we're going to do 5 drops of the lemongrass. 3, 4, 5. If you get an extra drop, it's not that big a deal. 5 to, but you do want to be careful with your ratios. If you'll go to my website, sweeturbanliving.com, and click the aromatherapy tab, I have a guideline for safely diluting essential oils and how to use them wisely. All right, the peppermint, we're also going to do 5. Ravintsara, we're going to do 8. Okay, so one of the things I do want you to go back and watch the video where Rob and I are doing the smell, the smell test on the different essential oils, because I explain, I opened this up and I stuck it right under my nose. But when you are testing new essential oils that you're not familiar with, don't stick them right under your nose, because certain ones can close up lungs instead of opening up lungs. It's just, they're safe when used right, the way they should be. And so you always want to make sure, just like you would do a patch test or anything like that, with anything, you use it in small amounts. So, okay, we got the Ravintsara. We're going to do, he loves sandalwood, so we're going to do, it calls for 8. And because I could actually use double the drops, this one just is it's slow to come out. I may use 10 instead of 8. Give it a little bit more sandalwood. Come on, big guy. Little guy, come on. There's plenty in here. It's just not dropping. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to I added just a little bit more of the sandalwood. And it's fine because this recipe, you can use 30 to 60 drops. And I went with the 30, so having just a few more is fine. And the Copaiba, we're going to do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So be aware that some essential oils come out a little bit more slowly than others. Some have come out super fast and you've got 10 drops whether you realized it or not. Now I've got this extra thick Castile soap. So we're going to use 12 ounces. This is so thick. I got the thick, naturally thick Castile soap because I wanted the thickness. And that's one reason why we want the glycerin too, to help it smoothly come out. And if it's too thick, we'll have to dilute it with some water. Not a problem. Let's see. Let's blend that up a little bit. We're going to use the immersion blender. Then I just want to go ahead and blend that up just a touch. Then we're going to add this. So the pump bottles that I got are 16 ounce, and the amount of Castile soap that I'm using is 12 ounces. And then between all of the other liquids, the honey, the vitamin E oil, the coconut oil, and the drops, we're still just over 2 ounces. So this should be plenty big enough for what we have here. Now, make sure your immersion blender is down in, and I'm just going to use the lowest setting. And it comes off cleanly. All right, so before I pour this in, I have labels. Okay, so this is for Mr. Sweet. Mr. Sweet wears contacts. So we're going to make this large. Mr. Sweet. We're going to name the essential oils. I'm going to put it on the back. If I were manufacturing this for sale at a market or something like that, please be sure you check with your state, your county, your city. If you're in a homeowners association, that can even make a difference of what you're allowed to do and not to do, even in your own home. But selling things, selling your own crafts, if you're doing this for yourself, you just want to make note of what you're putting in here just so you remember. Then I'm going to take, I think maybe I should have done that a little neater on the top one, but I'm not going to redo it, even though I'm tempted. So tempted. All right, so Mr. Sweet body wash. And then on the back, it has the list of essential oils. Now these labels are supposed to be water friendly, so I can put it in the shower gel. They kind of wrap around. I thought they came with the bottle. So anyway, not perfectly aligned, which my black and white, everything needs to be lined up, is driving me just a little bit crazy on that. But I want to go ahead and get the labels on before I pour this in, because I don't want there to be any forgetting which one is which. Okay, so I've grabbed a funnel and we're going to pour this in. All right. Okay, there we go. There is Mr. Sweet's shower gel. Now this particular one, I like this. Did y'all notice this? It has this little clip. This is great for when you travel, because you can take that off and on, and then your pump head doesn't go up and down. So let's see if this pumps out. Yeah, it pumps out. And it smells really good. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside, go wash up my instruments that I need to wash real quick. Okay, so for me, for Mrs. Sweet, the blend that we settled on for me was actually just 2 essential oils, orange and frankincense. And they blended so beautifully together. Again, if you want to go look at our essential oil taste test, not taste test, our essential oil smell test, you'll see the process that we went through in deciding what we liked best. And so smell is very personal to everyone. And even like I said, there was one essential oil, the tansy, that I wanted to use, that when I actually started trying to blend it with others, I was like, no, no. Okay, let's get started. We're going to do the same thing that we did before. Not only is vitamin E great as a preservative, it is good for the skin. It is we say it's E for everything. Vitamin E is good for so many different things, inside and outside the body both. Yeah, notice I'm rubbing this on my skin instead of wiping my hands on a paper towel. And then our coconut oil, because these oils are so good for our skin. One. That there's no reason to waste it once, just because it got on my hands. This is my personal Bath and Body Wash. I'm not doing this for the crowds. So if you are doing this and you're selling it at your craft fair or whatever, make sure, I started to say this earlier, make sure you're in compliance with your city, county, state regulations or laws. And every state and every may be different. I know they're different because one of the things that we taught in one of my herbal classes was that very thing, to research, how to research and find out what was legal in your state, what you could do for a cottage industry if you want to make this stuff yourself. And if you do, I would make sure you're, maybe wearing gloves or put your hair up, all that kind of stuff, because this is stuff you want to sell to the public, and you want to have a good reputation for good, clean products. If you're just doing it for yourself, you don't necessarily have to wear gloves. I don't have my hair up, and it's fine. So next, after we do that, we're going to do the honey. I saved that 1 spoon. Two teaspoons of honey. And a lot of times when I'm cooking or making things, I will use the measuring spoon that with oil first and then do honey next, because the oil keeps the honey from sticking. But because I was using this for multiple projects, I wanted to make sure to keep my oil and my honey separate, because I was going to do that again. Okay. So I have one little tiny plate to keep things tidy over here. Let's put a lid on that. So I have the glycerin, the vitamin E, the raw honey, the lipid oil, which I chose coconut oil this time. And for me, we're going to do the orange and frankincense. Now, in my other video, one of the things my husband, Mr. Sweet, suggested when I was trying to figure out what to use for me, he said, why don't you use bergamot? Because he knows I love bergamot. And I said, no, I can't use bergamot right now because it's a phototoxic essential oil. And being outside in the sun could cause it to burn if there's any lingering on my skin. Now, I'm doing it as a soap, and so it could wash off, but I just didn't want to do that. And I ended up using essential oil of orange and frankincense. And some of you may be wondering, well, wait a minute, isn't that phototoxic as well? No, actually, sweet orange and wild orange, according to Robert Tisserand and Young, they wrote a book together, Tisserand and Young. It's Essential Oil Safety by Tisserand and Young. And it is mind-blowing in the detail, but it actually says the benefits of the different essential oils, how the case studies behind them, the science research behind them, and they give us the dilution ratio, and I follow them for all of everything. Robert Tisserand is the leading aromatherapist in Europe, and I think in America too. So I do trust him as far as when it comes to these things. So back to what Mrs. Sweet is using in her shower gel. I decided to go with orange and frankincense because they blend together so nicely, and orange is not phototoxic or photosensitive. So here we go. I'm using 30 drops in my ratio. That's the lowest. And that way, if I go over, like I said, it's a 30 to 60 drops for this is safe, so I'm doing lower. I'm using 15 of the orange and 15 of the frankincense as well. That came out so much faster than the orange did. That was kind of amazing. That smells so good. Okay. So I'm going to kind of blend that together just a little bit before I add the Castile soap. This Castile is a blend of sunflower, coconut, olive oil, and castor oil. Some Castile soaps I think are just made with pure olive oil, but I really like this one. It's a fair trade. They use fair trade. They use organic. They use really good ingredients. So if you'll notice, they have a lot of the good things that they're watching out for right there. So I'll put a link to that Castile soap here. Put that in. Okay, so I'm going to make a label for Mrs. Sweet. I think that one's on a little, no, that's still crooked. Okay, never mind. All right, project 1. Making shower gels is almost complete. That foamed up more than I thought it would. All right, so now Mrs. Sweet has her blend, which is very pleasing to me. So what I would like for you to do is, if you have made your own shower gel using Castile soap, whether you follow this recipe before or not, drop a comment and let me know what essential oils you like to blend together for your shower gel or your soaps or things like that. If you've never tried it before and you get inspired and you go out and make your own and you have a favorite blend, drop that in the comments too. I love exploring new fragrances for the winter. I might do a spruce with Lang Lang or something like that. Maybe make it a little foresty and fresh. Who knows? So just let me know what you like. Put a comment below and yeah, let me know what you think. Okay, I'm going to clean up this and then we're going to do our next recipe. Like I said, I have several projects, and once I get my essential oils and all of my utensils and tools out, I try to usually make more than one at a time. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my bathroom toilet freshener for those times when you don't want anybody to know that you had to go, right?